Okay. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey Dan, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It's good to see and hear from you again.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're
It's
looking
been.
good, my man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I feel a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's inspirational, definitely very inspirational. Although right now I'm using my illness as a reason as to why I can't get up. I've got a bad cough, so I don't know how well I'm going to get through this, but we'll do it. I've been out of action all weekend, mate.
I gotcha. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's all good, mate.
So, how's everything going?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm a little bit overworked and all that actually, but it's that's always the case, isn't it, really? You know. I mean, having too much work is never a bad thing. So, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's kind of the problem you're going to run into eventually. Well, you diversify your content, so you're not going to have that kind of problem. But eventually, there's going to one of those sides has to give. Either the kick scammer stuff's got to give, or
Yeah.
video games have got to dry up. I don't know which one's going to happen first, but
I don't know if they ever will. I really don't because not in my lifetime at least. Because I can move kick scammers into like scams, just
hmm
general scams, and there's endless amounts of those to talk about.
hmm
And gaming. I mean, like, where like in 20 years' time, like the whatever the Astrobot will be retro, and I can do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to run out of stuff. Um,
but do you really want to be doing it for that long when the
I don't
current
know.
current gen becomes retro?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be more like an organization by that point. You know, maybe I'll be the man telling people how to do it. You know,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
technically, you're an entrepreneur, so where do you want to see the growth go for your channel?
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? I think I'm still in the exploration stage at the
hmm
moment. Like I'm writing a book that see where that goes. Maybe that's going to go so well that I end up becoming a publisher myself and doing different things that way. I've actually now started helping people to do better with their Kickstarters, and maybe that
hmm
is something I can do. You know what I mean? Like, so who knows where the future lies, but more avenues are starting to open up. So we'll see.
Well, what do you feel? What do you feel the most happy with? Is still making videos still like that
Yeah,
driving force that you love doing?
the end result is definitely. The end result of when I've done a video and I'm like, man, that's so good that I
hmm
love that final product. Um, there are some times like right now, I'm at a point where I'm like pulling my hair out because it's just
hmm
so tedious. I'm working on a project at the moment, which is like a 30-40 minute video, and there is all about the history of bar top arcades, and there is no footage of bar top arcades
Really?
from the 1980s and 90s and even the 2000s. I want people playing on them in pubs and restaurants and clothing shops and anywhere. There's a huge thing in America compared to the UK.
Oh yeah.
I've got loads of people. I've got loads of pictures. So I'm
hmm
cutting out loads of magazines, and then I'm going to make it look all a bit like slightly tilt the image, make it look a little bit pretty.
hmm
Um, but it's 30 odd minutes of me just using a few images to try and, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
hard. Um, so that's one of those things. At the end, it's going to be awesome because I'm gonna have to put so much effort into it to make it not look boring.
hmm
Um, but the end result will be good. It's just I'm at that point where I'm just like losing my mind. I haven't got much sleep anyway because I've like been having like a lot of sleepless nights recently because I've just not been well. Um, and yeah, so I'm like, another coffee, you know. Yeah,
I don't know where you're going to find that footage really, because even we would have them
it
in
doesn't
chain,
exist.
right? We would have them in
Yeah.
chain restaurants, but usually the chains it wouldn't be the same thing. So like Bennigan's is a chain that used to be around, and you
Mm.
like every three Bennigan's would have the player choice tabletop or the bar top
Yeah,
arcade
yeah, yeah.
thing, but you wouldn't find them everywhere. So if you tried to find a commercial of a Bennigan's where you'd see one in the background, someone being on it just wouldn't exist because they
I,
weren't
I'm talking to
established.
the company. It's a sponsored video.
hmm
But what's really good about it is the company said to me they want me to do this video. They really like the history series. They want me to essentially make the complete history of their company, but then also talk about the entire scene. So they're
hmm
happy for me to bring up all the rivals, and if I can get interviews with them, I can. I couldn't. They've left the scene now completely. It's
Yeah.
impossible to get hold of. Um, and yeah, the only thing they want to change is just the only thing they want to not change. The only thing they want to check up on is to make sure the dates are correct.
Hmm.
So I did a full script reading before I then went out and recorded, and they said yes to apps. They didn't change one thing except for they wanted they for some reason. I didn't really question it, but for some reason there was two people that I quoted from old interviews that worked at the company, and for whatever reason they don't want the names attached, so they're actually giving me someone new at the company, and they're basically going to redo the quotes. So I've still got someone at the company, but it's just
I
I don't know
got
what
you.
it is, but I'm like, if that's the only thing you want changed, like that's like the best sponsorship ever for me. But even they don't have footage, like the companies that run it. So for me, it's just one of those like I talk about the history of the guy. He came from Russia and he emigrated to Canada in like the 1970s.
Hmm.
So I've got like footage of plane and a tiny bit of stock footage from Canada from the 1970s, just a couple of seconds so I can get away with it, and then move over. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff, but they take a long time to find all those tiny little clips. And put them together, and then obviously you got to up-res them and do funky filters to make them all look like they're part of the same documentary,
Yeah, so
So
it all has cohesion. Yeah.
yeah, it's a toughie, but it'll be good in the end. Good in the end, my man.
How did all that come about? Since this is kind of unlike your other videos where you actually had the
Yeah,
company come to you with this, right?
yeah. I mean, I've had it a few times, but yeah, right. I just got an email. They liked my videos and wanted me to make a video on it. That was it.
I mean, that speaks to the quality of your work. I mean,
Hey, cheers, man. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I
I
was,
don't. Well, just for transparency, I mean, I back your channel as a producer, but I
yeah,
just don't throw my money. Like I have three creators. That's all I back, and I back them because I believe in their work.
Oh, cheers, man.
And if you put out a good animated product, I'll back it because I love animation. It's my number one thing. But then if you have a creator like yourself, which I've been backing for so many years now, you put out a good product. And I mean, it definitely comes with its stress. We've seen that in the past year alone,
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
had to go through. Uh, and you keep going through it. You don't stop production. You don't go on a year hiatus and then just come back and say, "Hey,
yeah.
I'm launching a new cryptocurrency,"
Yeah, yeah,
something like
absolutely.
that.
No, I mean, there's cool little things that, I try and do on the side. Like I have a couple of little, not side hustles as such, but I've had little
Hmm.
side projects outside of YouTube that are still kind of in the space. Like I did some video work for Virgin a
Hmm.
couple of years ago. That was during COVID actually, which is pretty cool. Like I was like basically the retro gaming sort of like guy they went to ask about stuff, and then I went there and I took along my units and got them to do filming with all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's cool.
And are you still doing everything on your own? You're doing all your own editing, recording, all that
Yeah,
stuff, publishing.
99% of the time. 99% of the time. It's been a good couple of years, I think, since I've had anyone else help me with anything. I'm too anal about tiny little things with like editing. Um, to have anyone else come on board, honestly.
Hmm.
I did have a guy, and he was great to begin with, but by the end, I could see what he was doing when he was because he would send stuff, and sometimes I'd add a couple of bits here and there just to,
Hmm.
a little bit of my magic, my splash on top of it. But then by the end, I think the last video they did for me, what I realized they did is they had loads of tabs open in a like a word on a browser like Chrome browser or whatever,
Hmm.
saying about different things that I was so they just flicked through the tabs and it just recorded the screen.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, that's not good enough for me, I'm afraid. So I ended up having to redo that whole part of the video. Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
using back in the day. You were using Sony Vega. Are you still using that?
Yeah, I'm still well, it's Magic's Vegas now, but yeah,
Yeah.
just a lot a much newer version.
Hmm.
There was a time I was thinking maybe I'll move to Mac because like there are limitations with using Vegas and things like that and random Windows applications and they crash a lot.
Hmm.
But you don't really get that anymore. Like my PC is significantly more powerful now and the software is a lot better. Um yeah, I'm happy with Windows and yeah, still using the same stuff. I'll move into looking into things like After Effects and Blender and stuff like that as time goes on
Hmm.
because I'd like to do more effects and do more things, but cross that bridge as and when. Yeah.
So, how many years has it been since you made this your more or less your bread and butter? It's been a few, I think, like four,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, full time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been doing this for 11 years, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I went full time after 4, maybe 5 years. So I've been doing it about 5 or 6 years full time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember when you made that announcement, I was like, man, that takes a lot of balls to say you're going to do YouTube full time with how volatile this
yeah.
platform is.
I don't know if I should say it publicly, but I tell you what, like it was quite funny because the way I looked at it was, I had a family come in and all that sort of
hmm
stuff. For me, it was like when I earn on YouTube what I can earn in a full-time job. I'm going straight into money here, but just how I had to make sure I made the right jump at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, when I make on YouTube what I earn in my full-time job, 3 months in a row, then I'll be able to quit. That was like my aim. So I got to that point eventually. I think like 4 years in, and then my wife either had a we had a kid by that point or she was pregnant. Um, and then we're like, right, we're gonna need a bigger house because we don't want just the one kid.
hmm
So then we realized that we want a much bigger place and we just can't afford it. So I had to continue doing two jobs. And YouTube by this point was 100% full time, and I had a full time job. But I had to do both to make it look like I was earning so much money, two big incomes basically. And then I ended up doing that for a whole year so that I could get a bigger place.
hmm
And I remember, like, I didn't need two incomes, but I needed to show that I was earning a decent amount. And I remember, like, do you foresee any changes in your income when you move into the place? I'm like, no, no, there won't be any changes. It was like the day I got my key, I quit. It was like the day. But it was a year of me just like, I got ill where I was just like working non-stop through the night and then waking up and working all day for about a year. It was
hmm
hardcore that final year because I just wouldn't let myself have a week off. I'm like, I'm so determined. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm proud I've done it, but my God, like, looking back now, like I don't even know how I did that. Even nowadays, it's crazy.
I know if you don't want to discuss it, it's fine.
Yeah, go on.
When since there's three revenue or multiple revenue streams
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you. You have whatever you get from YouTube itself, then you
yeah.
have your YouTube subscribers, and then you have your Patreon. Which
Yep.
of those three is the one that's the steadiest and you could live on if the other two fell off?
Well, you've obviously got sponsorships as well.
Yeah, and
That's
your
something that,
sponsorship deals. Yeah.
yeah, that's something that I didn't even think would be a thing until after I quit and went full time. Because I think I quit and then a few months later I hit 100K because I
hmm
quit just before 100K. It was something like that, and it was like a switch just went off as soon as I believe I was on databases all over the place. And I think this happens with all YouTubers when you hit 100K, all of a sudden, bang, you start getting almost like to the day. You start getting email sponsorship suggestions. It was really bizarre. Like it was instantaneous. In fact, one enormous gaming company that I was working with wanted to take me to another part of the world. Something I haven't answered your question yet. I'll get there. Sorry. Um, and but for them, they like, oh, we really need you to get to 100K. We really need you to get to 100K. It was so important. So it changes. YouTube is the most, I think, it depends where you are on your journey. I used to earn more on Patreon um, than I do now. It's just it's an up and down thing, you know. Patreon was a bit more. It was like like the same with Kickstarter was more popular several years back. Patreon was a bit more popular a couple of years back, and you earned more. I don't tend to lose many people on Patreon or anything, but maybe I don't push it enough to bring people in. I don't know,
hmm
but that's a steady amount of money. But as an actual income, I would say YouTube is the one. Saying that, sponsorships can also you can live off those, but I don't like risk. I don't
hmm
like risk. You can have a month where you're like, wow, I've earned two paychecks with sponsorships this month, but then you might not get another one for another 3 months or
hmm
something like that. So it If I was a gambling man, I would go for sponsorships, but
Hmm.
I'm someone that likes to keep it safe, so I'd say YouTube money. Yeah, basically.
So since you have Patreon, then you have your YouTube memberships. Would you like to see those people that are on Patreon migrate over to just YouTube memberships to make it all easier?
Um, it really doesn't make any difference. The only perks, I think Patreon's easier because you can categorize everything.
Hmm.
So as a member, if you join, you can click on something. You're like, oh, this is all the Kickstarter content. This is all of that sort of content. You don't really get that on YouTube.
Okay.
So that's a negative. But then on YouTube, you can give supporters emojis, and you can't do that for Patreon. So there's swings and roundabouts of both.
Hmm.
Um, but to try and get around that, what I've done is I just don't advertise the emoji things anyway. So I don't make
Hmm.
that a perk. People discover them. That's cool. From when I used to do them a long time ago. But what I have done is I've made an external website where every supporter gets access to everything in a really nice database. So then that way everyone's equal. And
Hmm.
for me, all I've got to do is just, make a big post on Patreon or YouTube memberships, and then I copy paste and put it on the other one. So it's an extra 2 minutes work for me, and then that way it lets people do what they want to do. Um, on the money side of things, though, Patreon does seem to be the one that um, is more beneficial to me.
Hmm.
But regardless, I let other people decide what they want to do. It's fine.
Right. You don't skimp on the perks and or anything. I
No.
mean, you always deliver, which
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, I'm always worried that am I giving them enough? Am I giving enough? I mean, I've literally just for this week alone, I've just finished a 3 minute short, which I'm going to send out to supporters in a minute. I've done a let's play, which will be exclusive and won't go anywhere. I've got an interview which I'm not releasing yet because I'm waiting for the video to be finished first, but
Mhm.
that will be 100% exclusive, and that's to do with this bar top thing that I'm working on. And yeah, obviously the next video as well. So yeah, I like to think I give as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. The risk versus the reward though right now, is it better than it was like back during the apocalypse, like when my channel got basically just decimated?
Right.
Mine my growth just tanked during that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people like you or like Ashens or everyone else in our little circle, they just kept pushing forward and they made it. Little guys like me, we just gave up. So
It's
now, is
tough.
it better now than it was like 6 years ago?
Well, I come from a background of marketing, but because it's weird. For me, it was almost not looking at the stats
Hmm.
actually grew my channel quicker, I think, which is a really bizarre thing to say. And I think what it was because I was doing marketing as my 9 to 5 job outside of YouTube. When I got home and I was doing, like I say, two jobs at the same time. I just didn't have time to look at the stats. Oh, this works. Maybe I'll do more of this or whatever else. I mean, maybe there was a bit of that, but I didn't really, really, really zone in on it. Um, so what I would do is I would just make the video, release it, and I'd
Hmm.
say, oh, this one didn't get as many views, but by that point, I'm already halfway through the next video anyway. So I just continuously release them over and over and over again. And I feel like the reason I'm saying that is because like if I was someone that, oh well, like these last 4 videos have flopped, um, it might have pushed me to, not continue. But
Hmm.
because I just wasn't bothered, I just continued going. Um, I just kept going, and I think it actually helped me in the end. People just knew what to expect from me. There was no worrying about it. Regarding it's tough because I think that pushed me through Adpocalypse doing that, basically. Nowadays, I think the new big issue is is AI content.
Hmm.
Um, there are good uses for AI. There definitely are. I'm not someone that just hates everything connected to the word AI, but in regards to my job and how it affects me, how it affects my bottom line and my views or whatever's the most important thing to you as a creator. Um, when AI became readily available to everyone, a million channels grew, suddenly
Hmm.
popped up. And it is quite scary. You can go to, and I shouldn't say this because it's essentially telling people how to do it, but you can go to Grok or or whatever, Gemini or whatever one you want to use, ChatGPT, and just say, write me a script about insert video game thing here in the
Yep.
style of Slope's Game Room, and it will literally do it. And I'm like, that's insane. And it will give you sources, and I'm like, wow. And it's just like, this is a bit scary. And sometimes I'm watching a video, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, hang on, this isn't real, is it? You know what I mean? And like it throws me off. And I'm someone that deals with this content all day, every day.
Hmm.
And now this is my new competition. I've got competition, with other channels, other great channels, but I've also got this new competition as well. So, you know, there's always another thing that you've got to battle. You had the apocalypse beforehand, and now you've got this. So there's you just got to make sure you keep your eye on the ball and your hand on the pulse, and just make sure you're keeping you're making sure you know what's working and how you can promote yourself and whatever else to get around these barriers.
You're definitely in a safer space than like I am, because technically I'm retired
Right.
now, because when I was working for Clownfish,
Mm.
they just reached a point because there was no ad revenue left.
Yeah.
There just came a day when they're like, we just can't pay you anymore. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I got no problem with that. I mean,
Mm.
it'll be the second time I've retired from writing in the past 20 years. I didn't really care that
Right.
much,
Right.
but it was like, well, let's look at. We tried some AI content. It just like spit us out a list of 20 ways to get kicked off a Disney ride, and
Right.
do it in my style. So I have enough articles out there, probably a couple thousand. It's like, here's a whole bunch of links. Write it like mine, and it wrote something that was pretty similar. And I was like, wow, you could just replace me with just that.
It's
It's
nuts.
terrible. And I
It's
was like,
so scary. It's so scary.
I wouldn't blame them if they did, because it is a numbers game. If I was running a blog and I couldn't afford people, I would use the same thing to make the content to make my ends meet. I don't
it's
blame
really
anyone that
hard.
uses it.
Like I say, you just gotta like. So I signed up to a thing called, and I'm still signed up to it actually, but I'm on a low end tier. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Tube Buddy, I think it is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Tube Buddy. So yeah, they just they give you like keyword suggestions on the back end of your YouTube, so you can get more views on your videos. Blah blah blah. They ran a promo where you can test out like their high end
Mm-hmm.
Tube Buddy service. Excuse me, and I went and logged in, and it was just there was so many of the tools they gave you were AI related, and it
Yeah.
was like, here's better suggestions for your thumbnails, and it just kept showing me all these thumbnails. I'm like, this is nuts! Like the amount of time, like I'll normally put like an hour long video on, or sometimes a movie or whatever, and I'll finish the thumbnail by as the credits roll, because I just
Mm-hmm.
spend so long getting all the shading and trying to make it pop, and do different things. I'll make the words bigger here, or make like whatever it needs to be. I spend so long on that sort of stuff, and then you got this thing, boom, there you go, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, is that better than what I've just done? You know what I mean? It's scary. It really is. It really is. And I mean, I've just done a title right now for a short. What did I call it? Yes, Sega actually made this game, or something like that, because it's a short. But I'm like, if I throw that into AI and say, think of a better name, give me 10 more suggestions. You look through, I'm like, wow, okay, that's not bad. It's
Yeah.
nuts the amount of stuff that yeah, it is scary. It's scary.
And it's infiltrated everywhere, even on my 9 to 5
Mm,
as a military contractor. It's when I emails from the top, the very top of my company, are said, just use AI, put this into AI and see what it gives you, instead of us sitting down doing a review, doing traditional contractor stuff. It's just like, put it in AI, see what it says. And surprisingly, it works. If I say, like, find all the contradictions, or write a request for information based on this document, and it spits me out 100 different things that I should ask. I'm like, well, you just saved me a whole day's worth of work. But
mm.
do I trust you? Do
Oh,
I trust
absolutely.
the AI?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the
Because
same,
I
like,
don't.
when I do research, and people say, don't go to Wikipedia for research. Well, I say you do go to Wikipedia for research,
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of many places you should go when looking up, whatever the subject matter is. I remember specifically there was one game that I was looking into, and there was a line. on Wikipedia it says, oh, and then they made a sequel or something like that. And I'm like, I had no idea they made a sequel. And that didn't come up anywhere.
Hmm.
And the link didn't work for the source. And I'm like,
Yep.
where is this? That led me down to reaching out to the guy that ran the game. Like, was there a sequel? And he's like, yes. And he was like, yeah, it was like something that never came out on a weird service. But because of
Oh,
Wikipedia,
yeah.
I found that one tiny little nugget of information,
Hmm.
and I'll never forget that. So it may be the last place I look, but I will always just double check just to make sure I've not missed anything,
Hmm.
because you want to, check under every little stone and stuff. And I think um, it's going to be kind of I think people are going to start doing the same with AI in time.
Hmm.
I'm not there yet. I can't bring myself to have AI do my research for me. I find I can't do it. But I mean, I can't imagine how bad I would have been at school. You know what I mean? When doing like a paper or something, working on a report, like AI write this for me. Like it's going to be a scary world we live in, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's what worries me is the soul will go out of content creation and writing and everything else if you're basically having something else do the majority of the work for you and you're filling in a couple things here and there.
Yeah.
With video content, it's a lot harder because you could spot the AI things in
Yeah.
video content, even in the script. You can kind of like the syntax of that sentence is weird, or a human didn't
Yeah.
write
Yeah. Yeah.
that. But yeah, it worries me a lot that it's going to be so unchecked that right now when I see 10 channels put out the exact same content, like 10 things you didn't know about whatever, or this is a list of banned cartoons. I'm like, okay, that's the 20th thing about banned cartoons that aren't really
Yeah.
banned.
Yeah.
That and
Is
you
that the
click on
gorillas
it.
again? Yeah.
Yeah. Then you click on it, it's just that text to speech voice
Hmm.
and just going down and mispronouncing names and saying 1030 a.m. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you're not even checking the stuff you're putting out. You're just throwing it into the thing and just spitting out content. And it's
I
gonna
noticed that because I watch a lot of theme park content, and I know you do as well.
Mhm.
Like, I remember watching something, and I started realizing, hang on, they've jumped between Disney World and Disneyland a few times now. Like,
Mhm.
this isn't real.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. I think there's 11 Labs, I think it's called, or
Yeah.
7-Eleven, something like that.
Yeah,
11 Labs, something to
11 Labs.
that
Yep.
effect.
Yep.
Yeah, you can like choose from like an array of absurd amounts of voices,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. And I remember when I was on holiday, I was messing around with the kids, and I was like, let's talk about all the cool things we've done on this holiday. Like, oh, we went to that awesome water park, and we did this, and we did that. And you had a chat GPT, like, write me a song about this, and include this, and include this, and include this. And you just add all these things that,
Hmm.
the kids have done. It writes you a song, and then you throw that into Sino, and it actually
Hmm.
sings you the song. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is nuts. And all of that's done in 10 minutes. And I'm
Yep.
like, this is nuts. This is
Uh,
crazy.
I can't badmouth AI too much. I mean, I've created the past when I stopped really doing interviews, I just went to Udio and paid for an Udio membership, and I was like, just write me right here. Here are lyrics from a Tolkien song. Turn it into a heavy metal song. And then I was like, okay, that sounds good enough. I'll just put it up there. But I'm very clear, like this is AI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, I did not make this. I'm not going to make any money off of it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun for like experimenting around with stuff. But
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong in like I use it quite frequently in my I've got a WhatsApp group with some friends, and we we banter on each other, take the mickey out of each other. Like one of them's is a nickname Wiz, and I'm like the retro gaming nerd, and they take the mickey of not watching my stuff, and whatever else. We all joke around and stuff, and making like funny little pictures and winding each other up and stuff like that, and using AI
Mhm.
to do that. It's fine. It's not something. It's not. But it's when people start doing AI stuff and then putting it out as a sellable product on like
Mhm.
Etsy or like I say, or making videos on YouTube, and it's just like this isn't real. This hasn't been researched. This hasn't been fact checked or anything. And obviously, I'm a stickler for that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I'd like to think in the future, certain people will just build up a good reputation on good writing or whatever it is they do, and people will know this is someone that you should I would trust
Mhm.
into doing content. And then I suppose the next important step is for people that do that to big up other people that they know are real people that are doing real content as well.
Yeah.
So
We're having the same problem in the 3D printing world is people are there are plenty of websites now. You'll just give them a prompt, and it'll give you an STL file. It'll give you like a
Hmm.
more or less what you asked for, but it gives you also a high resolution render of that thing, which does
Mm.
not match the end product. And people are going on sites like Creality and other sites to sell their files, and they're selling it, but just showing you the rendered image that the AI came up with. But then when you get the model itself, it's low res, terrible detail,
Hmm.
and people are just getting away with it because it's just going unchecked, unfortunately. And it's flooding this market. So if I go and I pay $20 for a model for something I really need for a part, I get it. I'm like, this is crap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nowhere
absolutely.
close to what I needed. And it's just there's no checks and balances in 3D printing right now except for the community. And
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube is going to be the same thing. Probably the community is going to have to come together and say we are not going to put up with this kind of content flooding the market and ruining our analytics.
but I just don't know how you police it.
No,
It's
there
it's it's,
there
it's
is
a
none.
great, yeah, it's gonna be a great thing. But as time moves on, I mean, already it's getting so it's from those like Will Smith spaghetti eating things where it was all just broken to now like, hang on, that's not real. Like like it kind of gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Like like the hand problems are kind of going away now.
Yeah,
Like I don't know how you police it. Like yeah.
yeah. It's
I,
just
I do see a future as well, like like the way people are nostalgic for like that retro wave sort of VHS look.
yeah.
Maybe like people in the future will be a bit more like nostalgic to like early AI weird generated videos, while they listen to whatever that version of synthwave will be.
Top 10 terrible AI from the
Yeah,
2020s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like lo-fi hip hop while you watch like pictures of the King Charles with his sausage fingers and Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it's all, oh man, this is so nostalgic, you know.
uh, I mean, the more I think about it, with as gray as I'm getting, like what is going to be considered retro when I'm fully gray and going into a retirement home? That's something that terrifies me now.
It's I don't know, like it's yeah, I generally don't know. I don't know. I try and think about that sometimes when I see my kids and I'm like, what are they getting in their life right now that they're going to be like, oh man, do you remember? I'm like, what is it? Like Minecraft? Probably. Like I'm guessing it's got to be something like that. Or like my boy's really into K-pop Demon Hunters right now, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
and
my
my
daughter
daughter
too.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, that that they're going to be singing Golden or going to like reunion concerts and stuff. Like I don't know. But good stuff. Last the test of time. We watched Back to the Future only yesterday with my son, and he loved it. Watched Indiana Jones a few like a month ago or something, the original Indiana Jones, and then the next day he's at school, like running away from the boulder and stuff. And I'm like, there's something that stands the test of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good, so good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when creators like yourself, like James Rolfe and everyone else, is just considered like just these founding fathers of YouTube content creation of video game reviews and media
Will it even be
reviews.
YouTube? I
Who
bloody
knows?
hope so because I'd like to leave the channel to the kids or something. I don't know, like, and
Considering a Saudi Arabian company just bought EA, you never know when YouTube or when Alphabet's just going to sell YouTube to some, Middle Eastern country, and suddenly
yeah,
it everything changes. But
yeah.
we never know. That's why I back up all my content. I know you back
Oh
up
yeah, yeah,
yours.
yeah. I do now. Yeah, yeah,
After that, yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, there's plenty of other sites. They're just not as good, and eventually they'll get there. I mean, there's
yeah.
there's other platforms where I've hosted my stuff for years that sure it may not get views, but at least I have a backup because there's some
Mm.
stuff I can't replace. I think the first interview I did with you and a lot of other creators that aren't even making content anymore, just I've got to keep those just for just for my own sanity, just so I know
Absolutely.
I had once talked to that person. The
Yeah,
good old days.
whenever I get any kind of nice email come through, I
Mhm.
save it in a folder, which is now backed up. That was one of the things I was worried about when I almost lost it all.
Mhm.
I've had like some like you've helped me through dark times and all these like mental to lose that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, I back all that sort of stuff up.
To wrap it up, what is on the horizon? the elevator action thing, I'll have to say thank you very much because no one ever talks about elevator action. I was very glad to finally
Let
see a
me tell
video
you
about
about
it.
elevator action actually before I go ahead. That video, man, oh my God. So that was such a weird video to research because
Hmm.
you can spend 3 days researching and then all right, okay, so this is now officially all there is to find out about this game. And you've got a nice thing, and you can already in your head, like, once you've done it long enough, in your head, you can work out how you're going to structure the information that you've got. But with elevation, there's nothing.
Hmm.
There is no information, and it's a commonly known thing that a lot of Japanese developers had their names hidden from when they were working on these games because the
Yeah.
companies didn't want to lose their employees. Um, but when I was researching elevator action, instead of finding all this information out to then, create a list of things that I can talk about, for that one, I had to create. I already had a list of things from other creators and random blogs that I've seen and a few other things, and I couldn't confirm any of it. I'm
Hmm.
like, even down to the guy's name, and I'm like, I've got three names attached to the creator of Elevator Action, and I just cannot confirm any of them. Um, I found a picture. It got so desperate that I found a picture of who the guy is, and I'm like, "This, where has that picture come from?" And I'm like, "Right, I'm gonna have to do a Google reverse image search on this." And I'd done it, and the name that it took me to a BBC News website where he was the manager of a rehabilitation center for OAPs that come out of prison,
Huh.
and I'm like, he did not make elevator action, and it had a different name attached to it as well. There's so much misinformation about that, and as it was quite interesting because for 3 days I eventually worked out the trail. I was contacting, and this is a good use of AI. I reached out to a Mexican YouTuber that had done a history on it because he was talking about stuff that I just never found anywhere, and I'm like, where do you find this information out? And then he put me over here, and eventually I worked out the trail, and it was the most incredible. I would do a video on it if I didn't want to just ruin everyone's reputation, but you can see the Chinese Whispers Trail and where all the misinformation eventually started down here. Just a tiny little slightly incorrect factor.
Hmm.
Whoa, this is completely incorrect. So eventually I actually spoke to an arcade historian who used to be a Disney Imagineer, actually worked with Disney on Disney Quest and stuff. So a crazy knowledgeable guy. One of those like people that knows everything there is to know about arcades, to the point where he found out the name of the guy who worked on the game, and then Taito, who made Elevator Action, actually asked him to confirm it. So like he was like the base of information, and I got the name confirmed from him. So it was 3 days of me debunking everyone else and walking away with pretty much one bit of information.
Hmm.
So it was, ah, my God, it was hardcore. It was
Uh,
hardcore. But
that's the kind of dedication I like to see that you put that in because you could have easily just walked away because who's in all
no
honesty
one
who's
can
going to care
fact
about the
check it.
name, who's
Yeah, yeah.
a single name, who's going to care about that, but obviously
Hmm.
you do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just like, I want not to use Steve-O as someone that you want to use as like, someone you look up to, but I do remember him saying, "I want to be remembered forever, dude," like that. And I'm like, that's quite cool though. Like, if I can release something that's going to be the ultimate video on whatever subject I cover, like if I'm going to be talking about elevator action, I want to make the elevator action video. It's going to be the
Hmm.
everything there is to know about that. And I don't want to release something that's infactual. I want it to stand the test of time. Um, and yeah, that's I mean, not just for live action, but I do that for all my videos. I try and
Hmm.
make the absolute best I can. And yeah, there you go. But anyway, to answer your question, what's coming up? Well, I'm working on this bar top video, which I'm very excited about, even though it's quite draining. I've
Hmm.
got my second interview lined up for that tomorrow, just to reconfirm a few things. Um, and that's with someone from the company. So I'll be able to give two of those away to supporters, all unedited, and I'll just use a couple of snippets in the actual video itself. I have one kick scammer video, which I've got all the evidence for. I just now need to script it. And that comes with an exclusive interview as well about a console that was finished, shipped out to 83 people, and then within 2 months, no, no, we're not going to do this anymore. They wiped their existence from the internet. And I discovered they were doing that at the exact point I started researching them. And I quickly grabbed it all. And I remember I'd like, right, I grabbed the Facebook. Now I go over to Twitter and I quickly grabbed the Twitter. I went, oh, hang on, did I get Facebook? Let me go back. And the Facebook's gone. Oh my, it was
Mm.
like, I was that close. And then I've reached out to one of the only developers that worked on it as well, and he's given me all of his behind the scenes stuff. So I've got some nice exclusive stuff for that. It's going to be a shorter video because no one knew it existed in the first place,
Hmm.
um, which they want it to stay that way. It's not going to stay that way. So I've got that. I am writing a book, as stated as well, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about.
I totally understand.
Yeah, I'll tell you off camera. But I'm excited for that. That's a slow moving thing. I'd like to think it'll be next year. I can
Yeah.
potentially
As
do a Kickstarter for it as well.
as someone
Maybe.
who's written before, it's not easy.
No.
It's very taxing.
Yeah. Well, I've got a really cool way that's going to make the book incredibly unique, and it's going to also work as a way to market the book as well
Hmm.
throughout its 30-day or 60-day run on Kickstarter and whatever. Because it's got a lot of exclusive stories that are like, whoa, no way, that game was actually stolen, and whatever else. And it's going to be, I've got some big juicy bits in there that I'm desperate to turn into a video, but I'm not yet. I have to wait. I have to bide my time. Um, I'm working on that. I am compiling my third Blu-ray, which is going to be all about classic arcade games. I've done Sega and obviously the classic movies, and now I'm doing classic arcades. Um, Other than that, I mean, I'm sure there's other videos I'm working on as well. I've actually got two Kick Scammer videos that two people have just messaged me. Have you heard about this one? Oh, I haven't. What do you know? And they've
Hmm.
just here's a lot of information. I'm like, whoa, thanks. So I need to look through all of that information and see if one, there's a video there, and
Hmm.
see if that's something we can turn into a video as well. Yeah, there's a thousand little projects working at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
And as far as people being able, you're pretty accessible. So, but one
yeah,
of the things you haven't talked about is that you have a very active Discord where your
yeah.
investigations and everything go on, and the only way to be part of that Discord is to
Just, just click the
go
link.
go on it. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. That's the best thing. You just
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah. I
to
was
it.
about to say, yeah, yeah.
You
No,
don't have it
I
locked
wanted to make sure
down.
you realised that.
You're
Yeah.
not charging anyone $20 a month just to be able to say, hey.
No, no, no. There's one extra room where basically I give people like early access to videos, but that's part of like a Patreon and YouTube member perk. But like the entire 99% of the other rooms, it's all go in there,
Yep.
go share your artwork if you're an artist, go and talk about upcoming movies, upcoming games, old games. There's a whole room that it's all about toys and gadgets people buy, but it's essentially turned into Transformers. The
Yeah.
dedicated Transformer room. There's some hardcore Transformer fans in there. Yeah, anime stuff if that's your thing. We all talk about all different things, and there's even a pickup room, which is actually talking about video game pickups, not you going to pick up people, which a lot of people think it is, but I don't want to change it now because that's too funny. Yeah, there you go. I had a music room as well. I love me some
Yep.
music.
Awesome. Dan, thank you very much for
No,
coming
man, it's all
on.
good.
I always appreciate having you on, and I'm always glad to support you. Will do as long as you keep making content. I'll always be one of your supporters. So thank you
Well,
again
thanks
very
so much,
much.
man. Cheers, bud.
All right, have a good evening.
Have a good one, man.
Bye.
Later.